Is wearing a mask real tyranny? I know that's kind of unfortunately, it's a more common opinion than I would like. It's probably why I'm prompted to do this particular video, especially when we juxtapose that to put it together. Yeah, that's a big word, juxtapose. When we put it together with real, actual tyranny, just today, somebody's saying the common thing of people who don't like to wear a mask is that it's tyranny and that they're sick of it. And it is a public safety issue, and I liken it to someone moaning and complaining that they're tired of all the common sense rules of the road. Not talking about laws here, but common sense rules of the road. You know, when you get out in your car, you steer, you pay attention, you brake in time, you pay attention to what's going around you, you look at what the other cars are doing, you don't go faster than you can control or be, you take safety precautions, even if it's just for your own life. But the bad thing is, it really should be not just to protect me, but it's to make sure that I don't hurt anybody else out on the road. I'm not talking about wanting to comply with the law. I know how the audience is. I get it. I understand. If a law is consistent with morals and ethics, it's just redundant. And if it violates that, well, then it's criminal. No change there. I don't put a seatbelt on because of some law or because the insurance companies want us to, because it's going to save your life. And yeah, I was a tough one to that one. It took a friend of mine actually dying. I was very young at the time, and she went through the windshield. It wasn't her fault, other than she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Had she been wearing a seatbelt, she would probably still be alive, or at least she would have died at 18 years old. So it just gets me that this is still being referred to by a pretty good percentage of the population as tyranny. In fact, you had that whole thing in Canada about mask mandates. Wow. So I want to talk about what real tyranny is. And you see, I got this one, and I think we got the HD going there. I see, I got the one with the kitty, the kitty prints on it. And I know some people may, it's a face diaper. If you're one of these anti-maskers or one of these anti-vaxxers and you think the whole thing is just a plan, that it's fake, that it's all just a hoax, well then, yeah, when you wear this, because all the verbal diarrhea and merd they're coming out of your pie hole, then maybe I could see it that way, but not the way I use it. A face diaper. Wait, how stupid. You know how stupid you sound? And even some claiming that it's child abuse. Oy vey, give me a break here. Plenty of studies to show that it does cut down on the transmission. And there are studies that show that in schools that had a high percentage of children wearing the mask had a lower incident of illness. So there you go. So I want to just take a few minutes here, and I want to go into some real actual tyranny, okay? And don't forget, I am still an anarchist. I have an ethical view on this. I believe that it's wrong to force people to give you money, even under the pretext of helping them. So I'm still there. But that doesn't mean I buy into all these theories and things that just because someone says it on the internet, it has to be true. The same as what I have here. So my claims can be verified. We'll look at some actual tyranny here and see how it compares to wearing a mask, which is for public safety. It is you care about somebody other than yourself. So even if, like with global warming, even if it turns out not to be that effective, the bottom line is you wore the mask so that other people, so that you help your intention was to help other people and to cut down on the transmission. So you were doing something out of concern and empathy for other people, which is a good thing from what I understand, well, at least what I think. This bafangul, home mio, if F you, I got mine. Yeah, that's not, you could be an anarchist with that mindset, but you're just that's just a scumbag kind of attitude. F you, I don't owe anybody anything. Real tyranny here, all right? No knock warrants. How many people, especially people who are not white, how many people of color have to die until this is, which is real tyranny? In fact, we just had Breonna Taylor, who they still have not been held accountable. I know a couple of the officer who actually killed her is on trial, but not for killing Breonna Taylor, okay, who was not the subject of the warrant. He's on trial for being reckless and shooting into the next apartment. So not for actually killing her. There was one, let me go down the list over here. Yeah, just this, in a month ago, Amir Locke was fatally shot by Minneapolis police again. Minneapolis Police Department SWAT executing a no-knock warrant in which Locke was not named as a suspect. Now, this is obviously a class issue. There, like I wrote in Government Indicted, which you can get in the description, you don't have no-knock raids in rich neighborhoods. No-knock raids only happen in poor neighborhoods. So this is just one of hundreds, probably thousands of people. Well, let's just say hundreds of people who have been innocent, unarmed people who were killed during a no-knock raid. Breonna Taylor was sleeping. They couldn't smear her. She was a government employee, and she was sleeping. This is something where they say here, how many of these things go on? All right, well, maybe the numbers are from 2010 to 2016, at least 81 people and 13 officers died during SWAT raids, including 31 civilians and 8 officers during execution no-knock warrants. Okay, so not thousands, I figure that, but maybe over the years, a few hundred. That's unacceptable, at least to me. And this is a sign, this is actual tyranny. This is real tyranny. A mask is not tyranny. So half of this is, all right, of the subject of SWAT search warrants, 42% are black, 12% are Hispanic. Since 2011, at least 7 federal lawsuits against officers executing no-knock warrants have been settled for over $1 million. So they're talking about how many go on. In 2010, it's estimated 60 to 70,000 no-knock or quick knock raids were conducted by local police annually, the majority of which were looking for marijuana. This is real tyranny. The fact that this gang can barge into your home with guns drawn and kill you with impunity, especially if you are poor, which is where they're really going, that is tyranny. That any one of us who are not living in a gated community, who are not in places like Beverly Hills or Belterre, I would guarantee you that Belterre or Head of the Harbor, it's not a single no-knock raid on those places, because the more money that you got, the less chance you're going to be investigated, and there's even less chance you're going to get a no-knock raid, no matter what your crimes are. Because we know, and this is another example of tyranny, that the rich, because Donald Trump, who had 15 boxes of a lot of highly classified documents, classified so high, they can't even describe the documents. Still walking around a free man. But if you've got a joint, holy crap, that is, see, the whole war on people who use drugs, well, I shouldn't, the war on drugs, which is a war on people who use drugs, that is tyranny. A public safety measure, putting a mask on when you're out? Come on, give me a break. You know how stupid you sound? Another example of real tyranny. And you've got a lot of this going on in Texas now, where they're going after the LGBT community. Okay. Look at a place like Saudi Arabia. I know I bring this up a lot, but it's a pretty big issue. Homosexuality is punishable by death. By death. Just for being a homosexual in Saudi Arabia. Punishable by death. Fines, public whipping. Public whipping. My gosh, it's 2022. These people are still 1,000 or 2,000 years away, in the past. Beatings, vigilante attacks, vigilante executions, torture, chemical castrations, and imprisonment of up to life if they don't just outright kill you. That is real tyranny. When you can suffer death for being gay, just for being gay, and you complain about a public safety measure, which it does. I can't even comprehend the lack of empathy and the stupidity in something like that. Just mind-boggling stupid to think that putting a mask on is tyranny. But here we are. And now here is probably the most graphic example of what real tyranny is. I know, there's going to be some people that say, oh, it's all fake. It's all fake. And Breonna Taylor was a crisis actor, and none of that's real. All of it's fake. All of that is fake. Fake news. But to those who actually have rationality, other than that little small percentage that still watch the stuff on my channel, will see that this is real, actual tyranny. The Russian invasion of Ukraine. What's going on in Syria, the civil war in Syria, and what's been going on in Yemen for the better part of a decade, the drone strikes. That is real tyranny, having a regular occurrence, that there are drone strikes, that there are bombs going off in your neighborhood practically every day. That is tyranny. Good God, my gosh, people. I can't believe the people that fall for this. My rights. If you live in Ukraine, you're under attack. I don't think anybody in Ukraine or anybody in Syria or people that live in Afghanistan, where it's also illegal to be a homosexual, people in North Korea, people in China, I think that they would look at you the people who did the Canadian protest for a few weeks. They would just look at you and just think how pathetic that if you knew what real, honest to goodness tyranny was, there's no way in the world that you would be protesting a mask. That's real friggin' tyranny. You can go see other channels that have the graphic videos of buildings, civilian buildings being blown up in Ukraine. That's real, honest to goodness tyranny. That should be enough. I want to just mention one other thing when it comes to actual tyranny. And that's when we go and we are in the courts and it's on taxes or traffic like that, where the judge is overtly pro-government. When you have people like judges that I've mentioned here on the show many, many times that will throw you in jail for asking a question, which they would never do to somebody in their club. They would never throw a lawyer in jail for asking a question, even if it was a wild question, because these attorneys like Rudy Giuliani, they're not getting sanctioned. They're not getting thrown in jail for contempt. Stephen Myrie, who a judge said explicitly was engaged in gross prosecutorial misconduct, withholding hundreds of documents. He didn't go to jail. But if you ask in a traffic court, if you ask a question, you can go to jail. And you're asking a question, a perfectly legitimate question. To me, it doesn't matter if it's a perfectly legitimate question or not. But the fact that we ask a legitimate question makes it 10 times worse. That is actual tyranny. Putting on a mask, give me a break. That is ridiculous. That's all I want to go through in this particular video. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with me. Present an argument. The best that you can do is that it's a difference in degree, which I think is ridiculous because I take it as a public, like I said, there's studies that prove the mask does cut down and cuts down on transmission. So, but if you think otherwise, leave it in the description. And also in the description, you can get a copy of Government Indicted. And if you want to help support the channel, so I could do more videos more frequently, then you may do so. But thanks for watching. And again, wearing a mask is absolutely not tyranny.